Ben şimdi izninizle İngilizceye geçeceğim. Sebastian'ı davet edeceğim. Ondan sonrasında da panelimize İngilizce olarak devam edeceğiz. Okay, now I would like to invite the Sebastien Borget, co-founder and COO of Sandbox, to the stage.
Allez. Herkese merhaba. Hi. Hi, Ayça.
Welcome to Istanbul and YGA
Thank
Summit.
you.
Sebastien, I'm very happy to have you here because actually he is the very first gamer and Web3 figure on YGA Summit, so it's quite exciting for me. I know you're quite passionate entrepreneur, interested in disruptive technologies, but you've been in the startup ecosystem for 15 years, even more than my YGA journey, right? So even longer than my journey. So it's great, but I know besides the startup story, you have been a gamer for much longer and you have been creating in the gaming ecosystem. And also, I've been wondering, all of us have our passions and gaming is your passion. How did you discover that gaming was your passion? And how did you turn this passion into your entrepreneurship journey?
Well, it's a great question. I'm pretty sure like everyone in the room, we all play games, right?
Yes.
And for as long as I remember, I've been a geek, I've been an early adopter. I always like to try the new product, the new technology, and see what comes from them. And I was playing games since I was a teenager. You know, I started with the Super Nintendo, and then I had almost every single generation of console. And one day I say, oh, I'd love to make games myself. But truth is, like making video game for consoles or PC was pretty hard. Like you needed to have like very specific talent skills, like large team and a lot of funding as well. So it wasn't really accessible for anyone to start their gaming studio.
Yes.
And then came the iPhone and Android areas with smartphones. And at that moment, around 2010, 2011, I kind of felt like it's possible again, that dream of the entrepreneur launching his tech company or his gaming studio in a garage, like the Silicon Valley stories, and begin creating games just with a small team. And so did we. And at that moment, in 2011, we founded my third company, Pixel, by then, with my co-founder, Arthur Madrid. And we've specialized ourselves into games that are like character-driven, that involve major brands and bring people to create their own stories with that. And along that journey, started Sandbox, originally as a mobile game. We launched it in 2012, and we already had that idea to bring that my own dream to anyone. Like, how can we enable anyone to make their own games as simply as possible without any coding or whatever special skills?
Yes.
And it's been an amazing journey since then.
Yeah, definitely agree. I'm quite inspired by those enabling everyone, regardless of the borders, limitations. I think it's truly inspiring, and it will, elevate the opportunities for the young people. So actually, along this journey, I know that you have been working with various teams, and you're the president of the Blockchain Game Alliance. But besides, you're a father, so I'm quite wondering, like, what are your value sets as a human, as an entrepreneur, as a father? So can you please tell us about this more?
I think like what drives me really is like empowering people's imagination and seeing like how they are like using those tools to like push their own limits, push their own boundaries, and then find that they have this talent that they didn't even expect. We've seen literally millions of people play the first Sandbox on mobile. We've seen 70 million creation on mobile. We've seen many more now in 3D with Sandbox.
Yes.
And ultimately, that's what drives us, like empowering communities, empowering people to become like more creative. And I try to drive and use that philosophy along all the things we do, like focusing on like transparency, focusing on like how do we bring the value, like people become creative, but if they cannot live from that creativity, it's not going to like keep running for a long time. So that was one of the challenges we encountered. And in 2017, when we first discovered about blockchain and NFTs and Web3 in general, we found that solution. And today, like I try to always apply that principle in all the things I do, including in the Blockchain Game Alliance, which is now an ecosystem of 450 members, always supporting every entrepreneur, everyone who want to join the space, sharing knowledge, and helping everyone succeed, as I believe like together, if we succeed together, we'll be stronger, rather than trying to compete with each other, as it's such a nascent industry.
I think what you just mentioned defines the succeeding together in YGA. We always say double-winged, and double-winged youth can fly with other double-winged people. So I think it's quite inspiring. And actually, I would like to ask you one more thing. Like, you know, lately we talk about metaverse more and more, hearing about it every day. But most of us maybe have a little idea. Most of us has some more. But you are someone who knows the first-hand the opportunities involved in the metaverse for young people. So can you please tell us more about what is open metaverse? Why is it so popular?
Well, I think like if I ask the room, pretty much everyone now has heard about the metaverse. But if I ask you like who has actually entered the metaverse, tried something, like maybe if you want to raise your hand so I can see, like not so many. So we have this mission to clarify a little bit what this term means, back to the original definition that came from this science fiction book 25 years ago written by Neil Stephenson, Snow Crash. For us, like metaverse is really that myriad of virtual worlds that users can access using an avatar, that 3D character that is representation, their new digital identity, a new representation of themselves, and they can access like those more social, more immersive, more creative world, and also like move from one to another in a very seamless manner, as well as own all their digital assets alongside, like their virtual wearable, their game equipment, the virtual house, all the content they created or they earn. And that's really important, that notion of ownership, true digital ownership, and the fact that you're no longer limited or restricted by the platform where you created the content to move your belongings from one to another. Like you take back control of your data, and with that comes the idea of an open economy. So we've been in virtual worlds, we've been playing video games, maybe some of you have seen Second Life, Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, just to name a few. But all of those platforms, even if they're great and they gather hundreds of millions of users, they are not metaverse. They are just like closed walled garden platform where anything you make there doesn't actually belong to you. Anything you buy with real money doesn't belong to you. You cannot send it to another user, you cannot sell it on the marketplace outside of that game, and you cannot even use it in other games. So we want to solve that, and that's really the open metaverse. We have to add that open term to really distinguish the notion that freedom users have. And it's important to build an open metaverse because we believe that it will lead towards like an open economy on top of it, with digital asset of value, with jobs and services that will be created. Literally, millions of jobs can be developed on top of this new infrastructure of digital asset, virtual land, and tools to create experiences. And it needs to benefit, first and foremost, the users, the creators, who contribute to the growth of those virtual worlds by developing the experiences or the content, by being present, bringing life, interacting, and making them grow. Minecraft sold for $2.5 billion. Like, what did the community who contributed to that massive success get back in return from that sale? Pretty much nothing. Roblox listed on an IPO, creators only earn 30% approximately of all, while they bring all the value. So that's the paradigm shift we want to introduce, bringing back power into the hand of the players, the creators.
Yes, definitely. Oh, by the way, now on the screen, the people can see what is actually an open metaverse. So can we say that Sandbox is an open metaverse, and is it open to everyone, every young people right now?
So Sandbox is building a part of the open metaverse. We are very attached to make it as already concrete as possible for people. What are the first possibilities? Using your avatar, exploring more than games, like social experiences, dance club,
Yes.
art galleries,
Yes.
museum, education hubs, but also virtual concerts very soon. And being able to use your digital asset on Sandbox, outside of Sandbox, use external digital asset in Sandbox as well, all of that is already possible. We are attracting already 230 studios around the world as part of our ecosystems. It's been growing. At the beginning of the year, there was only 10 studios, and we are touching 1,000 to million of users. We have 4.3 million users with a wallet, empowering them progressively. Still, Sandbox, we're still early in the development of Sandbox. We're in beta, so the platform is not yet fully open, but we're working towards it. And 2023 will be a big year for us, as will all the landowners, all the creators will be able to launch their experience directly to and create their own economy, their own community, and benefit fully from the creator economy from there.
Wow, I think this sounds really, really great. You know, as an international NGO, as an employee at an international NGO, I'm quite driven and inspired by that. You bring people's skills, their knowledge, their energy, regardless of their age or international borders or anything. I think this is quite great. But on the other side, I think there's a great opportunity to make an impact for the sustainability. So can you please tell us a little bit more, like what are the opportunities, you know, to create a more sustainable world in the metaverse?
You're right. I think everything we do, we always focus like what kind of impact it generate. And even though you might think this is a virtual world, we're already seeing like real people having emotions, making new friendships. We already had the first wedding in the metaverse. People are meeting, making new friends, socializing, and they're earning a revenue from creating virtual, wearable, digital fashion or experiences, and that revenue comes back into the real world. So that creates an economic impact, first of all, and this is the basis of empowerment. The second thing is like, we have the chance to be fully reborn in the metaverse. Like we can pick our avatar. Yes. We don't need to represent it the same way as we exist in the real world, like can be a man, a woman, a non-gendered person, or even a non-human creator. And people will see and value you into this world really for what you contribute and which communities you're part of. Meaning like this is more inclusive than the physical world. You have access to this opportunity of content creation, community management, curation, and all those jobs that are now available. And no matter where you are in the world, because when I look at Web 2, when I look at gaming revolution, they are big markets. They have transformed the industry over the past 15 years, but they have also left certain countries out of like this revolution. And there's only some key market that benefited and took most of the value for it. So the metaverse and having creation tools that are as accessible as possible, not requiring any skills, having this new identity, like anywhere you are in the world, you can contribute and become successful. And we are already seeing that. Like we have various studios and community. Here in Turkey, we are already seeing like grow a big community. We have 5 builder studios that you can go and meet at the booth there. We are seeing also in Hong Kong, in Korea, in Japan, in Philippines, in Thailand, in Argentina, in Latin America, in Brazil. So, and it's expanding as well to almost all continents, Africa as well, in other parts, APAC too. So we're quite excited to see like this is like putting more fair, equal chances for everyone.
Yes, definitely, I agree. I know that there have been a great example at Sandbox, the project Heal. When I first discovered about this project, I really liked because when you mint an NFT tree, and then you actually bring one real tree to the world, and then you can bring access to the water. So I think these two worlds are not that far, so they are merging, can we say that?
The Web3 is definitely about community empowerment, and those community can have developed projects that support and make impact towards sustainability in the real world. And Code Green, by this Hill Code Green project led by Ina Moja, which is a great music artist too, is as a main goal to rebuild the great green wall across Africa and make an impact around like environmental and sustainability. And it all goes through like using a social platform and a creative platform like Sandbox to connect the member, to empower them, and to bring back the value that is generated toward the charities and NGOs that will be planting those trees on the ground. It's not the only one project. Like we've been supporting WeForest and other charities. To date, Sandbox, I think, has helped plant around 160,000 trees around the world, in Amazonia, in Madagascar, mangrove, and so on. And we give back a percentage of the proceeds of the land sales towards this. We organize a charity auction where we don't just give 100%, but 200%, so it's a stronger commitment towards those various causes, because we feel like the metaverse is not just a technological revolution, it's a social revolution that needs to bring good in the real world and make an impact. And maybe one thing, like if you see over a longer horizon, like as we're going to spend more and more time interacting into virtual world, socializing, learning, working, educating ourselves, I think like the growth of this digital economy could make a greater positive impact in terms of carbon offset, because we are going to value more and more buying digital goods, virtual goods, than necessarily physical one. We're going to travel less to meet and do that into virtual world, and hence like that could reduce all the carbon footprint that comes from like creating a wearable in China, transporting it to various stores around the world, and so on. So it can really change the habits. And we're seeing that already with the Gen Z. Like they prefer to buy, if you survey them, 90% of that Gen Z users like to buy more virtual assets, wearable in Fortnite, in Roblox, typically. And now we add to that the fact that not only they wear and own those, but they have the freedom to resell it as well, ultimately.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for all these answers and this great chat. But actually, we just mentioned bringing these two worlds together. We have a great project with Sandbox Turkey, actually. Sandbox Turkey and YGA, we are going to bring metaverse and Web3 technologies to the middle schools in Anatolia within this year, starting. So hopefully it's going to grow bigger and bigger soon. And besides, within this year, we created a game jam.
Exciting about that, yes.
It's great to see your reaction, actually. And then is there anybody among us who attended our game jam contest? Maybe? So I see, some people over there. So actually we had received more than 20 applications from all around Turkey. These are high school students and university students. They are building the metaverse together, actually. We don't want to just consume the latest technology, but we would like to be the creators of it. We would like to build it together. So with Sandbox Turkey, we held a game jam contest. So actually, it's our first time. Now, with Sebastien, we are going to announce the winners. So before that, I would like to ask you if you want to add something.
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate those students to have made a step forward, to try those tools for themselves, and to participated with a submission. We've been very impressed with all the submissions, so judging was not super easy, actually, and if that was just me, everyone should have been winning something. You've gained knowledge, and I hope that you will not stop at the game jam, but you look forward like those new skills that you learn and use them to keep growing and developing maybe your next business or your next job in the metaverse.
Definitely, I hope so. So now we can watch our winners' videos. They have been creating experiences about sustainability in the Sandbox metaverse. So let's watch our winners. So if some of the winners are among us, please feel free to stand up and let's give a big applause to the winners. If they are among us, where are you? Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations, yes.
Okay, so thank you for everything, and thank you, Sebastien, for this great talk. So see you hopefully in the next years again.
Definitely. I would love to be here back and see the growth of the local ecosystem. And in the meantime, see you in the sandbox and the metaverse.
Okay.
Thank
bye.
you, everyone.